How you doing, everyone? My name is Ryan, and this is Ade, and welcome back to the first edition of BoxTalk in 2014. Everyone, unfortunately, it's been a very, very busy, tough year for both of us. Had a lot of personal issues to sort out, but now we're back on track, and we're here to give you all the information, all the facts on the big fights coming up. Today, the first fight we're doing for this one is Alvarez versus Alfredo Angulo. Mexican War. Both guys come off losses, but both guys are still marquee names. Ade, what do you think of this fight?
First of all, we're back. Okay, this isn't painted on, this is a beard. I'm not turned, I'm still Christian. This is just a beard for winter because I don't grow this shit up here. Look, it's a good matchup. But only, I think, because they're both Mexican. I think Alvarez on another level to Angulo. Angulo, in his last couple of fights, Edison Lara, I remember, beat him quite convincingly, and James Kirkland stopped him. Before that, he's changed trainer to Virgil Hunter, and he's improved slightly. But sometimes changing a trainer to a marquee trainer name like Virgil Hunter doesn't really help you. You're not getting all the... I don't think you're getting the access that the Amir Khans and the Andre Wars and even Andre Bertas are getting right now. So he's probably fourth or fifth choice in terms of getting the expertise from the training side of you. Alvarez coming off a decent performance against Mayweather. It wasn't a great performance, but he kept it competitive for the 12 rounds, and he tried to take Mayweather into deep water, and it wasn't a bad thing. Alvarez is still a young guy, can come again.
Yeah, see, where Alvarez stands right now as a young guy, he's in his early 20s, losing to Mayweather will not hurt his career. You lose to a legitimate Hall of Famer, number one pound for pound in the world. Yeah. You tried your luck and you got caught short. No shame in that. And even though there was a dodgy draw decision card, that will be his peace of mind in the back of his mind, saying, well, at least I won some rounds.
Yes.
So that will keep his heart in the game. My problem for Angulo is that Angulo was, when Angulo was coming up, he was known as like the Mexican dog. He had the bloody dog collar around his neck. Like, he was like, the guy was an animal. Yeah. But instead that animal's been turned down. When he lost to Kirkland, he came out hard. When he came out hard and he stopped Kirkland. Once the punches started coming back and he started feeling the pressure, he didn't like it. In the Lara fight, he basically quit. Even though he had a very bad injury and he thought his orbital bone was broken, loads of fighters, again, Vitaly Klitschko, who's recently retired, he got destroyed by the boxing press when he tore his rotator cuff and only had one arm. But he made but the point is, Angulo made a choice not to move forward. So that tough Mexican dog image is kind of tainted. And I think that's the difference in the fight, whereas Alvarez still got his reputation intact, Angulo don't.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with a lot of pressure fighters. You can go back to Margarito, before that you can go back to Hatton. Once you're a pressure fighter and you cannot take punches anymore, that's it. You're pretty much done. It's your game. Angulo was never a skilled boxer. Ryan's right. Coming up from Mexico, you watch his early fights. It was a pressure fight. He would walk you down. He would stop you. Once you stop doing that, and in his later years, he tried to go to Virgil Hunter and try to improve on his boxing skills. For me, it's too late. I mean, Ricky Hatton tried to do the same thing with Floyd Mayweather Senior. You can't change what you are, I think. And I feel like for him, if he's going to try and outbox Alvarez, it's not going to happen. Yeah. If he's going to try and outmuscle Alvarez, I don't think that can happen either. Alvarez is a big 154, definitely going to move it to 160, if not 168 in the future. So I don't think that's going to happen. It's a good fight. Look, Alvarez is coming off a loss. It's a good fight for Alvarez. I want to see Miguel Cotto personally, but maybe that's a fight that will come further down the line.
See, I agree with you. I understand. I think when you get a new trainer and you're trying to adjust to a new style, I think it's good for like the first 3, 4, 5 rounds. Once the going gets tough, once you have to dig down, you're going to do what you know. And unfortunately, in Angulo's case, it's going to be to slug with a superior boxer, and it's going to get countered. Yeah. It's going to get countered constantly.
The thing that might help Angulo is, look, regardless of Alvarez's performance against Mayweather, which was okay, it's still a loss. And a loss for someone that was, 43, 44-0, to lose. Yeah. And we don't know how psychologically that could affect Alvarez. We're not sure. So let's see what Angulo does for the first 5 or 6 rounds. If it goes any way past that, then Alvarez is just going to steamroll him. But for the first 3 or 4 rounds, you never know. It could be interesting.
If I was Angulo, I'll go for the kill for broke from the first round. You know, the thing about Alvarez is that when he was coming up, even before the Mayweather fight, he never really fought no big punches. He fought a lot of guys at 147, a lot of guys who were smaller 154 guys, and we weren't sure what his chin was about. No disrespect to Mayweather, but Mayweather's not known as a big puncher either. Angulo is by far, in my opinion, the biggest puncher Alvarez has fought. Who was he?
No, that's not very right. And Trout definitely wasn't a big puncher.
Exactly, so he's fighting the bigger puncher here. So if I was Angulo, I would go out there and test the chin. Not saying Alvarez has a bad chin, but you don't know. And you know, if you got that type of power that Angulo has, and you tag him in the first round, the second round, the third round, the fourth round, Alvarez will change.
You know, the thing is, and it's a very good point you make there, we don't still, I don't think, know how good Alvarez is or how bad Alvarez is. I mean, he's one of them guys, he holds a 154 title, but, you know, you look at his CV and you think, who is he really actually fought yet? Before the Mayweather fight, you kind of, we're scratching your heads and thought, okay, Trout, Josito Lopez, I faded Mosley. Yeah. But really and truly, these guys aren't marquee names, or at least weren't marquee names. So you kind of wonder, who's he actually fought yet? Angulo is a big name on the CV, no matter what. So I'd like to see what Angulo is. We know what Angulo can bring to the table. We've seen who he's fought.
Yeah. You know, it's one of those fights in the sense where I think win, lose or draw, Angulo has nothing to lose. Yeah. He's coming off a loss. He's fighting the bigger name. But I still see Alvarez's name. I still on a lot of people's top 10 pound for pound list. So if he loses, there's no shame for him. Whereas if Canelo loses, then there's a problem for Canelo. So
it's a huge problem.
It's a huge problem. From Angulo's standpoint, even though I see him as a big underdog in the fight, I have to go forward. Go forward, pressure, try. And even if he gets stopped, it wouldn't be a problem for Angulo because, again, he's been stopped by a guy who's perceived as a top 10 pound for pound person.
Okay, I don't like to talk about fights before another fight's happened, so I don't want to move away from Angulo. But really and truly, I think Alvarez wins this comfortably. I think the more question for me is where Alvarez goes from there. Where do you think Alvarez goes from there if he beats Angulo? So it's probably talking about a September date, probably.
Let's go. If we go to the big if question, if he beats Angulo and if Cotto beats Martinez, I can see the unification, a champion versus champion catch weight at around 156, 157 for the midweight title. That's what I see as happening because that would be the money fight. That would be a crossover fight for Alvarez, who actually needs that appeal. Right now, no matter how you cut it, there's only 3 names in boxing that make real money. That is Mayweather, that is Pacquiao, that is Cotto. And you can flip Cotto around and Pacquiao and say who's first and who's second. And Alvarez needs to capitalize on the Mayweather experience. And by fighting Cotto, that's the only way you could do it.
Interesting. I like the way you said if, because there's a big if for Cotto Martinez. But guys, that's another video. All right, so what do you think in terms of Angulo's Alvarez? How's it go down?
I'm going for Alvarez by points decision, fairly wide. 107, 111, 116, 112, something like that. 4 rounds to 8, something around there.
Same here, I'm going for the kind of a decision as well. I initially kind of thought Alvarez could stop him, but then you look at Alvarez's record. As soon as he stepped up, he's not really stopping as many people as you think. Yeah. Look at his record; he's not the biggest puncher. And Angulo, he got hurt by James Kirk, and he can go a distance. He can take a punch. So I think as well, Alvarez, if not really stops in late, I'm talking 11 or 12, or it goes to a wide point decision. But guys, what do you think? This is our first video back. We're happy to be back. Who do you think wins this fight? It's a great little matchup, to be fair. It's an all-Mexican war, and that's what it's probably going to be for the first 3 or 4 rounds. And then I expect Alvarez to go clear. But what do you guys think? Are we sending Angulo short here? Can Angulo offer Alvarez problems? Is there any aftermath from Alvarez losing to Mayweather? Is he holding some scar damage? We don't know. Guys, tune in for this fight. You can email us at
BoxTalk.co.uk.
And guys, thanks for tuning in for another edition of Box Talk.